Okay, so this is today's question. So we're going to do a parabola, two parabolas, a parabola going upwards and a parabola going downwards as part of a lamp. Now the first thing just to be careful of is the height of this is 230, and if we look here with our set square, we'll just about get the 230 in. So I don't know if the thing zooms out exactly far enough, but the bottom of my page is just here, so I just have about enough space. So what I'm going to do is, I know that this is 15 plus 75, so that's 90. So I'm just going to leave a small little gap up from the bottom. Again, I don't know if this shows the exact bottom of the page, and I'm going to come up about 90 from that. So it's about 95 up. We'll disregard what it's saying there for the minute. So again, I'm going to use just a pink colour to make sure that I know that it's light. So pink will mean light. So as I said, we'll come up about 95 to start and draw a light line. So that basically is my line here from A to C. Now we know our width here is 70. Be careful, there's another two 5s either side. These two 5s have got to do with the base. So you can see the base is slightly wider than the parabola itself, but the parabola is 70. Okay, so we're going to go with that. So I'm going to pick, you can see there are 70. I have a nice bit of space left and right. I don't want to have it too close to either side, so we'll go with 70 there. Okay, so we put a mark for 0 and a mark for 70 or 7 centimeters. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box up here just to get us back into the habit of how to draw a parabola, and we know the height of it is 140. So we've gone a tiny bit too far, but again, because it's pink, that means that you're doing it light, and I'm not too worried if I'm gone a little bit far, because it'll be light with your pencils. Okay, so the first thing we have to do with a parabola is we identify the vertex here, which is the turning point, which is B. Okay, so therefore we need to split this in half. So half of 70 is 35. So we'll put a little dot there, and we'll draw a line up the middle, and we now have a vertex. Usually I'd write B on it, but in this case they told us it was called B, so I'm just going to write B there. I'm going to write A here. I'm going to write C here. Okay, so we then have to split this bit into 5 equal parts and this into 5 equal parts. So the first thing we do is we check, does it divide evenly, or are we going to need to use the division line method to split it up? So this is 140. 140 divides by 5. So as I said before, the simple way to divide by 5, because we need to do it a lot of time, is knock off the 0 and add it to itself. So 14 and 14 is 28. So what we'll do is we'll mark 28 here. We'll put our 0 there, we'll mark 28. Okay, now if your set squares happen to got rounded, you should put 1 here and mark up to 38, but it just depends. So you have two ways of doing this. Really, you should do 28 and 28 is 56, and work up the way like that. You can take out your calculator or you can add it up. So another 28 after that would be 90. What is it? 56 and 8 would be 94. But we can also move it up here and do our 28 again. And our 28 again. So this is a little bit less accurate, but it's better to have it in than to have nothing or to have a mistake. Okay, so either use your calculator to double check it, because 28 is an awkward timetables, or just keep moving up 28. So we now have a space of 35 here. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. So again, we can't knock off the 0 in this case, so we'd have to do 35. So we'd have to make it 3.5. 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7. But you should know from your times tables that that's 7 anyway. And again, as I said, if your maths isn't your strong point, you can always use a calculator in the exam. So we have 7, 14, 21 and 28. So with this here, these ones are going to go straight up. So I'm going to take a light green here, just to change up the colours. So that looks like it's seeable. Okay, and I'm going to draw them straight up. So the ones from the bottom are going to go straight up, and the ones on the side are going to go to our vertex or our point B, as it is in this case. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So what I'll do then is I'm going to number them. Okay, so I'm going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now a very important thing not to do is basically don't join a line from A to B. You don't join the bottom corner up. It's a common mistake. So where 1 and 1 cross gives us a point, where 2 and 2 cross gives us a point, where 3 and 3 cross gives us a point, 4 and 4 gives us a point, and obviously then we have the top. Now I'm going to sketch this in blue. Really what I do is I'd lightly do it first and then go over it. Okay, but today I'm just going to draw it straight in one go. Okay, so now what we have is basically we have one side of it done. So it's just a repetition to do the other side, or we can mirror it across. So we could use our transformation geometry that we were doing in the last term in order to do this. So I'm just going to look at the transformation geometry method. So we know that it's the same distance on one side as the other side. So what we could do is we could take our compass and we could say, well, if I know that that's this distance here, so I'm just going to put this into my compass, which you should have a set. You wouldn't be putting pens on it, you should have a set point on your compass. And I can mark that side. Okay, so this wouldn't be a way we would always do this, but it is an alternative way. Okay, so it's up to yourself, but it's just a good way to get used to using your transformation geometry, and it's the axial symmetry method. So basically what we're doing is we're saying the distance on the left of the pink side has to be the same on the right, because it's a symmetrical shape. It's the same on one side as the other. So you can see I've marked my points. I'll just use my red pen there just to make them a little bit seeable. Okay, what we do again is I'll get my blue and I'm going to sketch that in again. Okay, so we have our curve. Now technically if we had the same shaped parabola on the bottom with exact same dimensions, we could do the same thing. But if we look here, this one here is not 140, it's 90 high. So unfortunately we can't use the mirror method in this case. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down 90. I'm going to ignore the base for the second because I don't want to get confused by it. I'm going to take my pink pen again and I'll draw the outline. Okay, now because the width again was the same this time, I can just, instead of having to split on two, I can already bring down the split that I had done. Okay, so hopefully that's seeable. I'll just move this up a tiny bit. Can't really move it up anymore. Okay, so I think that's seeable. Okay, so we can see that there. So in this case I have to split this part into 5, but it's already done. So I can bring these lines down lightly to start. So again I'll use my green. So I can go straight down. And now I have 90 to divide by 5. So again, if I knock off the 0, that gives me 9. So I'll just write it out here so that you can see it. 90, knock off the 0, 9 and 9 is 18. So therefore the gaps here are going to be 18. So we have 18, we have 36, we have 54, and we have 72. Okay, and this time point D is our vertex or our turning point. Okay, so I'll just use the green. We'll join them down the way. Be careful, some students get confused and they start drawing them up the way. It's the turning point, and as we can see the parabola is upside down in comparison to the first one. So it's going down the way rather than up the way this time. So what I'll do is I'll take my red. Sorry, my pen went under my board here. And I'll mark where 1, again I should number these, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Where 1 and 1 crossed, where 2 and 2 crossed, where 3 and 3 crossed, where 4 and 4 crossed. So I'll take my blue again and I'll heavy it in. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a light colour. I'm going to use this orange maybe, just to sketch it for the minute. And the reason I'm doing that is usually blue would signify that it's going to be heavy. And as you can see here, this gets cut off here. So what I'm going to do is I'll just use the same method on the other side. I'm not going to use the mirror method this time. Okay, so 35 divided by 5 is 7. So again we have 7, 14, 21 and 28. So our 7 times 10 tables there. And bring these straight down. So this could also have been done up here, but as I said, I just used the axial symmetry through the middle line there just to get used to using it, and I suppose just to see a use as for how transformation can be used to solve problems that we might encounter. So it doesn't always have to be used in just the transformation geometry question. So we'll bring these down diagonally again. Okay, so they're going down to D. Okay, and again good practice would be that I would label these with numbers. Okay, so we're 1 and 1, 1, 2. We're 1 and 1 across gives you a point, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. And again I'll just use my orange. just to mark it. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to draw my base now. So we can see our base sticks out 5 on either side, and it comes up 15. So the 5 on either side is easy enough to do. Put a little stop dot there, a little stop dot there, and we'll draw our base. Okay, so we're happy enough with that. And then we know we come up 15, so I'm just going to use my orange again, and we hit it. Now it happens to just hit pretty much on that line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark those 2 points. I'm going to heavy across here, and now I'm going to join that to the outside point, and join that to the outside point. Okay, and then I'm going to come back here. Oops, a little bit off there. I'm going to heavy over that, and I'm going to heavy over that. Now, the most important thing at the end of the question is that you look at the question here and you see, have I forgot anything? So most people would say, all right, that's grand if that was an exam, and hand it up. But there's actually 2 bits I forgot. One, this line here should be heavy, which I haven't done yet, because again, my pink signifies it should be light. 2, I forgot about the top of the lava lamp. So we can go put this across like so. And then if we come back down 40 to the top, there's obviously a cap of some sort on it. And we can draw our top there. And then something nice to finish it off will be a nice little bit of shading with some colour pencils. I don't happen to have any here on me. I have 1 or 2. Ideally I got a full set, but I just shade this bit here in a light pink. Okay, and some other people then might even go so far as to draw the little bits of lava in the actual piece. What I would say with your shading is make sure that it's something light. Okay, I don't know, would pink be the colour I would have picked here for this, but what I want to do is, it's important that I can see these lines. I wouldn't be going back over them and put them in with pen in this case, but if or in your case when you're drawing it out, but I would make sure that it's a light colour pencil, so pinks, blue, light blues, light greens, yellows, oranges, that type of thing, so that we can see it. And as I said, some people will also draw in, I'll just draw it over here so that you can see it, you know, some of the things that will be floating around inside in the lava lamp, similar to what you'd have here. Okay, so that's all it is for today. So if you get that question done and send me back a photo of it, that would be great. Thank you.